In this video, I'm going to change my stock ATEC fans over for these. This is really in the hope that I just squeeze a little bit more life out of my computer and make it a little bit nicer to live with, because these two fans here are a touch bit on the noisy side. This is going to be an interesting experiment because at the moment I've got 140mm at the top here and 120mm at the back here. The airflow is coming in here, this one's going down like that, and this one is exhausting it out the back. And my new plan is to have this one here exhausting exactly the same as this one, but I'm going to get rid of this one here and instead have one at the front here sucking air in. So instead of going just this little bit here, I'm going to hopefully make the airflow throughout the whole case, which should hopefully help the graphics card out a little bit. But you know, we'll see. Just for a general point, I've got my computer plugged into the wall but switched off at the wall and switched off at the power supply as well, just so it's hopefully it's grounded. Should I discharge any static onto my computer, it should hopefully take care of itself. Well, you know, I don't know, we'll see, but that's the idea. So the main reason I'm changing my fans, really, besides the fact that they're old fans and getting a bit noisy now, and yeah, possibly the bearings wearing out, I don't really know, but I'm changing that anyway because they're quite old. And you can tell how old they are because they're still these 4-pin Molex, whatever they are, connectors, and they don't actually, they're not regulated by the motherboard at all, the speeds. They just run at a certain speed and that's it. But these ones, the speed of the fan is dictated by the motherboard. So, you know, if they need to spin fast, they do. If they don't need to spin as fast, they won't. So hopefully that'll be a bit quieter. I can do away with a power cable. Don't need that anymore. I am going to try and snip these and keep the fans just in case. You never know. Doesn't do any harm really. Okay. Other than the fact that they're a bit loud, there's not really anything wrong with these fans at all. Antec do make really nice stuff as far as it goes, as far as I'm concerned. So 140 and 120. Yeah. Let's get to seeing what's inside these. It's a nice quality box for what it's worth. They weren't very expensive, they were only £5. Now the cool thing about these is they have 4-pin connectors on, but they've kind of got like a little daisy chain type extension, so you can sort of plug them into the back of each other, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to I've got 2 chassis fan inputs on my motherboard, but only one of them has got 4-pin connector, so that means that the 4-pin bit is the part where the motherboard says, you know, how fast it needs to be spinning. If it was only 3 pins, then it would just be a case of they would just spin at a set speed and that'd be it, done. But the 4-pin thing is really good because they slow down and make less noise when they're not needed as much, which I like the idea of. And hopefully I'm going to set these up so that they can both run. Oh, they can both run on chassis fan 1 as far as the BIOS is concerned. Do you know what? That's really smart. I wasn't expecting it to be that nice for £5, but in all honesty, that's actually well alright. Okay, so there we go. We plug this in to the motherboard and then we have that stuck out for the second fan. Hopefully I've got the right cable lengths and whatnot. It says here airflow direction is that way, so if we go like that, the air should be blowing that way, right? And yeah, there's an arrow there which points to that way. So we're good. This case, to be fair, is just an absolute monster beast of a case. It's served me very well over the years and is just a proper solid lump of steel. These little sort of bracket mount things for the front fans, I've run this case for years without any front fans, to be honest, and I've never had a problem. But yeah, I'm going to try this setup out. But these little holders for these fans are very cool, in my humble opinion. Very cool. Yeah. They just come off. Well, I'm making it look a lot more difficult than it is, but they've got a lovely little door for them to sit in. How nice is that? Just go doot. I like that. Anyway, front fans want to be sucking air in. Well, set your computer up however you want, but me personally, I'm going to have it. I need the stretch, so I want it like that. See the arrow? See the arrow? Anyway, just believe me that there's an arrow and it's pointing that way, which means that the air is blowing that way, hopefully, let's say. So yes, we just pop the fan in its little what's it like that. Doesn't that look cool? 4 for the 4 corners. This is where I drop a screw into the... Oh, I'm just completely blocking the view there. That's clever of me, isn't it? And there we go, sitting in its housing all nice and pretty. I had to do that off camera because with these particular screw holes you actually have to like screw into the plastic directly, which I was a little bit uncomfortable doing here, balancing on this funny bit here. So let's strap it on. There we go. These, by the way, when I fit the case back on, do have dust covers. It's like a sort of fabricy mesh which just helps reduce the dust. Of course, the other option I could do is piggyback this fan off the back of the CPU fan header, which could be another choice because as the CPU gets hotter, this fan will spin faster, which is, you know, quite a cool trick. But I'm going to try it for now on this chassis fan header here. I don't know why, that's just what I feel like doing. Although I may even have to do it in the CPU header just because it may not actually reach that way, and I'd rather not put that cable right over the top of that fan because that's not the best cable management in the world really. So yeah, let's pop the back one on and see where we go from there. I bought this case and I didn't bother to change the fans just because, you know, Antec are big boys, they know what they're doing. It seemed like the good way to do it is having a big fan here. I like having a bigger fan if you can, because it's you don't have to spin it as fast and it tends to be a lower pitch fan noise, which is much nicer than a higher pitch fan noise. I may end up doing this and find out it's all a waste of time because it's actually, for all I know, I don't actually know, it could be the CPU fan that's making all the noise. Taking it out of the box action. More screws. I'll show you this. Do we care? Do we care about that? That's the thing. Oh, it's showing you. There you go. It is actually suggesting I use the CPU header there, but you know, we'll see how we go. I am curious to see how this is going to turn out because I don't actually know. That's in there nice and tight. Let's get to plugging it in. So let's plug you in. The second fan can piggyback off of this fan here. These are my new fans setting up, blowing air through the case like that. Turning them on, yes? Here we go. Ready? Okay, so that's odd. Because I could swear this fan at the front here is actually quite loud. That's making an audible droning sound, isn't it? Tell you what, I'm going to turn it off and unplug this one because that sounds awful. Yeah. What is going on there? So let's try the CPU fan header and see what happens. So yeah, I can piggyback the CPU fan off of the case fan, which sounds a bit odd, but in theory should work. Okay, here we go. Tell you what, that is quieter, and that's my graphics card turning off. So I think I need to check the BIOS settings. At the moment, I think I might keep it like this because this fan here linked in with the CPU actually makes more sense to me. As this gets hotter, this fan will ramp up. What if I piggyback them all off the CPU? Let's find out what that's like. I'm not too happy with that wiring because we've got a fan plugged into the CPU header and then another fan plugged into the CPU header and then the CPU fan plugged into the CPU header. So I'm not really happy with this, but for the sake of experiment, let's see what this is going to be like. That's my GPU turning off. So far, actually, that is the most quiet. My front fan, which is somewhere here, if you imagine it here, you can't see it, but my front fan here, this is making some sort of strange whining sound for some strange reason. This one here doesn't make that sound at all. Not quite right at the moment. So I'll get back to you.
Right.
Ooh, ooh, doesn't that look lovely? That looks like a lovely drink, don't you think? Oh, good lord! Nearly spilled that. Nearly spilled that right onto my motherboard. Lovely. I think this fan blows air that way, sucks air in, blows it out there. If we wanted to suck, so I think and blows it out there. Yeah, we need it like that so that it. I think blows it out there.
Okay. What on earth am I doing? Goodness, I'm making such a big fuss out of this. What am I doing wrong here? Goodness, what am I doing? if I go all the way, there we go,
All the way up like that. All the way up.
and it goes in lovely.
That's on there, lovely. Go doot.